هل تحب الموسيقى العربية هذه الكلمات؟
Useless. I do not understand their language. Ah, this sign must indicate the direction to the museum. Let us go. Mustafa's guide, camels to hire or buy, quaint hotel, financial advisor, taxidermist, and provisions of all kinds. Inquire within. This could come in handy. These great creatures are quite congenial.
And a very good day, Effendi. Whatever you search, you have knocked on the right door with Mustafa. That is me, Mustafa. What do you desire? A guide, a camel, a certified dentist? Or perhaps the most fabulous hookah that also works as bagpipes?
I am only in need of a discreet room and a bit of information.
No problem, not at all. I will bring your bags up and give you my most inconspicuous room, which just happens to be the nicest, as well as the most expensive. Is served just after the 10 o'clock prayers. As for the camels, you have but to ask.
I will remember. Thank you, my friend. Tell me, how do I get to the Egyptian Museum?
It's all very complicated, but you are very lucky, Effendi. Mustafa, that is me, of course, knows Cairo like no other. So, you take the road to the left of the park where my camels are, and straight ahead, go directly,
Thank you. I will find it. Well, I must go, Mustafa. Until later.
Farewell, Effendi. Farewell.
Ah, Cairo's famous Egyptian Museum. What riches must be stored within its walls. What disarray! Incredible how one can find anything inside. A hookah, museum piece, or intended for the director's use. Lovely Egyptian chest. Good day, sir. I am Professor Van Helsing. You should have received a courier announcing that I would be coming.
Ah, yes, hello. Indeed, my superior, Lord Grosvenor, informed me of your arrival. I am the assistant director. Lord Grosvenor is absent. He is on an archaeological dig in Sudan. He won't be back for another 3 weeks.
To be honest, I have need of nothing but a bit of information. Perhaps you could clarify something for me.
I would gladly put myself at your disposition if I wasn't overburdened with work already. You see, Lord Grosvenor amasses such a quantity of objects from various excavations that he supervises, but he doesn't have the time to do the classification, which is a necessary consequence. This work was assigned to me but would represent a challenge to 10 of the best scribes. I must apologize, but I cannot be of assistance at the moment.
Listen, I am more of a practical man, but I can certainly help you. Entrust one of your tasks to me. You will gain time, and hopefully I will gain some information in exchange.
It is with great pleasure that I accept your assistance. You can, for example... Wait, do you see this list? All of these objects were distributed throughout the museum, but they should be together. Can you find them?
What is a deben?
It was a unit of measurement in ancient Egypt. It was mostly used for precious metals like copper or gold, giving the weight of the metal corresponding to its value. For example, 1 deben of copper corresponded to 27.3 grams of that metal. For gold, 13.6 grams was enough to reach this value. The scribes possessed benchmark weights to perform their measurements, in the form of a wire of the metal in question, folded over itself. I can give you a copper deben. You can keep it as a souvenir, as with the stylus that I see there. I must rid myself of them.
Excuse me, I am going to look in the museum.
That won't be a problem.
Tell me, can I borrow this?
Certainly.
It is a sketch of the Giza site, showing the actual heights of the pyramids. Impressive. Papyrus from excavations in 1852. Not of interest. A flail or neck, insignia of royalty during the time of the pharaohs. This artifact is nothing but a poor reproduction. Bizarre. I'll take it. A miniature pyramid. Curious. A key. What can it open? There is a little of everything in this museum, even things having but a tenuous connection to Egypt. This knife with a mother-of-pearl handle is magnificent. Another pyramid. A superb piece, certainly very old. A helmet. The tag says, helmet of a Spanish soldier, found in the wreck of a galleon offshore from Alexandria. A crook, one of Osiris's symbols, an insignia of the pharaohs. This artifact is nothing but a poor reproduction. Bizarre. I'll take it. Another pyramid. Granite scarab, of little value. Someone must collect pyramids. Head with a solar disk, the sign of loyalty to the pharaohs. Another pyramid. Ammon's ram, most likely. There is something inside. Someone wanted to hide this pyramid, unbeknownst to the director. These sarcophagi are very well conserved. Quite the feat in the middle of all of these dusty odds and sods. Oh, this mummy is spectacular. You would almost think it was about to move. It seems to me that there is an opening here. This sarcophagus is that of an unknown pharaoh, but it is missing something. There. Perfect. Open. Someone wanted to hide this pyramid, unbeknownst to the director.
Excuse me, sir, but I have much work to do.
There. I have finished collecting all of the objects on the list. Now, would you do me the kindness of answering my questions?
If I can. What are you looking for?
The tomb of a priest venerating ancient accursed gods. In this spot, a tome called the Demonomicon of Ouija was found. Have you heard of it?
Great gods above! How do you know of the existence of this damn book? It's one of the best-kept secrets of ancient Egypt. No learned Muslim has dared to make reference in any writing, and, I believe, the Christian Church long ago burnt any text which contained this name. I know but little regarding the Demonomicon, only that it is supposed to contain all of the teachings of an abject cult that worshipped the outer gods. notably that of the Black Sphinx during the reign of I don't know which pharaoh. Anything that touches this cult, directly or indirectly, is damned. And even speaking of it brings unhappiness. Do you really want to find this tomb?
I am afraid so. Do you have any idea where I can find it?
Frankly, no. However, it seems to me that there's an isolated spot. The Blood Rocks. That has an awful reputation. Some of the men who work on our digs say that no one has ever returned from this damned spot. Except for one Bedouin looter, raving mad, crying out that all of his companions had been eaten by a black demon. Apparently he died a few days later, and we found in the folds of his robe a sort of solar disk made out of gold. This piece was unfortunately stolen before arriving at the museum, and must have been smuggled out of the country. I can show you the placement of these rocks on a map, but no one will accompany you there.
Well, I shall depart, and thank you for all of your help.
Goodbye, sir, and good luck.
I must find this Mustafa. This might be useful. I am taking it. Curious. This trough is clogged up with herbs. Fresh herbs. Apparently someone recently threw them in the water. What is wrong, my friend? You look as if you dropped a 16-ton block on your foot.
May Allah curse the bastard son who did this. May the guardian scarabs enter through his fundament and devour his entrails slowly with small spoons that are bent and rusty. May he rot and die. A camel! He wants me to saddle a camel! But it is my camels, Mustafa's camels. They have all fallen ill. Look at them. This morning, full of energy, and bam! They are all on the ground like worms. Such misery and misfortune. I had to borrow money to buy them.
Listen, there must be a solution. Why don't you call for a veterinarian?
A veterinarian is too exorbitant. To care for a camel, I would have to sell one of my legs, and I have 7 camels. Do I have 7 legs to sell? The only veterinarian who is affordable, some would say even cheap, is my cousin Mulud. Mulud is also a hairdresser, heating engineer, bricklayer, and raises woodlice. But, as he is also a customs officer, he is also involved in a work to rule at this very moment. It pains me so. But tell me, where did you want to go?
I must go to a place called the Blood Rocks. It is not far from Cairo.
To the Blood Rocks? But you are crazy! A madman! No one will loan you a camel to go to the Blood Rocks.
I must go just the same, and with haste. If I can find a way to heal one of your camels, and I pay you triple your fee, will you agree to let me have one?
You have a deal. I have just thought of one thing. There is in the quarter an old Christian, a monk, you understand? The women go to him for the ancient remedies and his healing powers. He is near the Coptic quarters. Past my house, and it's in a lane on the left, you see? He might have something for my camels.
I must depart, my friend.
Oh, my poor camels.
Peace be with you, my child. My child, are you a priest?
Yes, I am a Coptic priest. What can I do for you?
Well, I don't know if I can help you. My innkeeper Mustafa's camels have unexpectedly fallen ill, and I am in desperate need of a mount to take me into the desert. I have been told that you might know of a remedy.
Perhaps. But a sick camel usually takes some time to recuperate. Mustafa is not the only one who hires camels. Why do you need one of his?
He seems to be the only one willing to let me take a camel to the Blood Rocks.
In order to fight evil, you must know it. Find out why the camels are sick, and then come to see me, and I will help you.
Well, goodbye then. I found some strange leaves floating in the cistern. They don't seem to have been there long.
These leaves are those of a poisonous shrub, my son. Normally they are dried and thrown into the evening fire. Their odor scares off the snakes. A few fresh leaves in a drink, however, transforms them into a potent poison. Luckily, camels are large, robust animals. These leaves are only found far in the desert. I would hazard a guess that someone is after either Mustafa or his camels.
Would you have an antidote for this poison?
Give this to one of the camels to drink. He will arise and will be able to take you where you see fit. The others will recover after a week of rest.
Thank you. How much do I owe?
I have helped you because it is my duty to help others in need. Perhaps it will be your turn to help me one day. You said that you are traveling to the Blood Rocks. Take care, my son. This spot has been defiled by the darkness. 2 days ago, a flock of nightbirds blocked the setting sun, which was illuminating the town, and flew to the Blood Rocks. It's a grave omen. Death awaits you there. Death, or worse.
I must go regardless. Thank you again. Well, goodbye then.
Tell me, what did the old monk say?
He gave me something to return one of your camels to health. The others will just need to rest. Now, tell me how to get to the Blood Rocks.
It's easy, I will show you. May Allah keep you, Effendi.
There is the tomb. Strange. It is lost in the sands. I would even say, concealed. These etchings are quite sinister. I understand that no one comes here. What has happened? My God! The entrance is blocked by these boulders.
Now, mongrel, how do you find the tomb? Or should I say, your tomb? The master informed me of your arrival and that you would seek out a most hideous death. And now you are satisfied. You shall be in agony, dying of hunger and thirst, prisoner of the darkness. No one comes here, and no one will hear your screams as you lapse into madness before you die.
This man must be one of the demon's henchmen. It could be he who poisoned Mustafa's camels. Well, I have no chance of shifting these boulders. I am truly a prisoner of this tomb, but I will have the final word. I have only one solution left. Find another exit after exploring this tomb. This first room must have had a utilitarian function, where tools and scaffolding were stored during the excavations which took place here. This could come in handy. Strange. This skeleton is not old. In fact, it is quite recent. Oh, I hope he won't blame me if I take this. It could serve as rope. The handle is unusable, but the head is still solid. Whoa! An abyss! Beware, there are some stakes at the bottom. It seems to me that there is an opening here. Be careful. A lantern. I'll take it. Night will soon fall. Poor child. This vampire seems to take pleasure in annihilating youth and beauty. This young woman has been dead for less than 2 days. No doubt Dracula has already gotten his hands on the Demonomicon. My hopes were in vain. There is no chance of saving Mina. I must find a way out of here. She was dressed in a great black sari, with a very long belt. I am taking it. This slab is a kind of door. There are grooves all around. It is impossible for someone like me, but a being that can change into fog could easily pass through these fissures. Something was taken from here. I see small nicks. This cavity seems to have been specially dug to insert something within. A small fissure. This box smells of garlic. A receptacle. It must have contained a liquid. These representations are not Egyptian, but they seem to be very ancient nonetheless. Strange design. The man being embalmed is holding a book in his hands and seems to be reading it as if he were alive during the whole process. Nothing of interest here. No doubt a medicine table. Oil. Strips of linen to embalm the mummies. I shall take them for lack of anything better. There, I can descend. This poor chap broke a pike, impaling himself on it. Strange. This skeleton is not old. In fact, it is quite recent. Why, he had some plants in his bag. The same kind that poisoned Mustafa's camels. There. Now to find a way to get to Cairo. My makeshift pick has broken, but I'll keep the wooden stake. It may come in handy at some point. Who knows? You? But what are you doing here?
I was awaiting you, my son. You will certainly need a camel for your return to Cairo.
Thank you, but I did not think anyone would be looking for me. Certainly not you. I thought everyone was scared of this spot. You even said that it was defiled by the darkness.
It is indeed. This spot is the tomb of the high priest of the black man with no face. A bloodthirsty, cannibalistic cult that lived for centuries.
I know that. That is why I have come here. I have been searching for the Demonomicon, supposedly entombed here, but it certainly is no longer in this tomb.
What purpose do you intend for this damnable tome? Do you not know that it will do naught but beget evil?
I had hopes to the contrary. A young friend of mine in England is in the grasp of a terrible curse. I thought that the only way to save her was to discover in this book the origin of this evil in order to find a remedy. But someone has taken it. Someone whose ardent desire is to use it to a more heinous end. Someone who occasionally accompanies a flock of night birds. But you seem to know a lot about this book and this location.
I am Herodotus of Judah. I am part of a Coptic order, and my mission is that of guardian of sorts. You must know that during the centuries that followed the entombment of the Black Priest in this tomb, which marked the official end of this cursed cult, it was the source of an intense, maleficent aura which rotted the earth around here. Men and women were overcome by homicidal madness. Swarms of insects and amphibians, deformed children, sick livestock, disappearances, and atrocious deaths were the lot of this earth. And this aura extended until the advent of my order. One monk amongst these first servants of Christ, a saint amongst saints. It was his duty to put an end to this nightmare through the strength of his faith. He penetrated the tomb and created a kind of sanctuary next to the origin of evil. He took residence at this spot in order to pray, while all around him were scrolls of prayers and exorcisms, as well as the notes of a lifetime past combating demons. He was enclosed in this accursed tomb, and the entrance was sealed up by a holy cross. At the edges, objects feared by the darkness's supporters were placed. Thus, only men of goodness could pass through and open the door. By the grace of the power of our Lord, the evil consequently stopped. But a few years ago, greed brought men here. They broke the seal and liberated the evil, which killed them. No one lives here anymore, and the plague emanating from the tomb has not yet had a visible effect. But it will arrive if nothing is done. I am an old man and an outcast in this Muslim society, and there have been Frenchmen and Englishmen. I have not been able to recreate the seal.
You claim that one of your predecessors had passed his life fighting demons and was interred in this tomb with prayers of exorcism and memories written on paper. This may possibly give hope to my young friend. I may possibly be able to recreate this seal if this gives me access to the tomb. It consists of the cross on the erect flagstone. Is that correct?
Indeed, its power is inoperative, since the objects found around the edges, as well as the sacred golden disc representing the sun, were removed. We must replace the objects at the ends of the arms of the cross and recover this disc. Also, we would have to perform a brief ceremony that is taught in my order. For that, however, it is necessary to possess some ancient cult artifacts that were stolen and that I thus no longer possess. Nevertheless, the authorities stopped these crooks and deposited the sacred loot in the Egyptian Museum. Here is a list of objects that belong to us, and which they refuse to render. Without them, you will not be able to save your friend.
Thank you, Herodotus. I must take my leave. I return to Cairo as soon as possible. Well, my friend, it would seem that things are not going well for you.
I can hide nothing from you, Effendi. It is because of my cousin Abdul, the seedsman. Abdul is also the cabinet maker, sausage maker, professor of ancient literature, and a tap dancer by night at the port.
He wishes you to do a duet with him and wants you to wear a feather dress, is that it?
No, he is angry with his wife because of their daughter. She was seen in the company of a stranger a few evenings ago while she was going to the well. Since then, she hasn't returned. Abdul's wife is worried about the girl, but Abdul doesn't want to hear speak of it as he's afraid that it will bring shame on his family.
And you are also worried, which explains your distress.
Yes, she's a lovely young girl. But it is mostly because my wife is the cousin of Abdul's wife, and she told me that if I did nothing, she would smash everything I own, and I would no longer be welcome in the bedroom.
What does your niece look like?
A tall and beautiful young girl with a great black sari. Say, you must consort with strangers. You could ferret out a bit of information, could you not?
I will do my best. Let us see if I cannot salvage some objects from the surroundings, which may be useful before returning to the cursed temple.
هل تحب الموسيقى العربية؟ هذه الكلمات؟
Useless. I do not understand their language. Garlic. That could prove to be very handy. This strange scale might help in some way. A small, empty flask, still intact. Let us head to the museum. Let us head to the museum. Hello. Am I disturbing you?
Not at all. I was just going to shave. I slept here last night, as I have for the past 10 nights. I have so much work that I can't leave, and with all of these thieves. But I thought you had left for the Blood Rocks. I am astonished that you have returned.
Yes, as am I. I am coming to see you because...
Watch out!
Are you all right? Have you been hurt?
No, I don't think so. But what happened? Someone tried to kill me, and you saved my life.
I think I was the one targeted. I do not think that my visit to the Blood Rocks was appreciated by all. Listen, I am pressed for time, and I must ask a favor. Certain items in your museum appear to legitimately belong to a group that desires to have them returned. Here is the list they gave to me. Can you entrust them to me, so that I might return the artifacts to them?
Indeed. These items were seized by the authorities and entrusted to the museum while awaiting their inspection. The official procedure requires that the people who are claiming them provide proof during an inquest that these items do, in fact, belong to them. Based on what I see, it consists of artifacts from the Coptic cult. The Copts are not well favored by the authorities at the moment. I doubt they would recuperate the items even if they followed procedure.
It is vital for me that they get these artifacts returned. Is there no solution?
Hold on, here's a hint for you. It's an ancient Egyptian measurement of volume. It is chipped, and we have dozens. It will make a wonderful souvenir. As for our matter, I have here a list of goods embezzled by looters, or simply stolen here in the museum. It's a veritable treasure. If found, the authorities will completely forget about the very existence of the Coptic artifacts, and I will give them to you. Here is a necklace that was part of the stolen artifacts and was found. Much of this plunder is the same. This might help you, perhaps.
I shall depart, Director. One of the beads of the necklace that the Director gave me is a diamond of great value. Tell me, can I borrow this?
Certainly.
This knife is covered with a strange substance. Watch out. Let us find someone who can give me information regarding this knife. Does this tell you anything?
Where did you find this, Effendi? Hide it before anyone shall see us.
He passed with great speed not far from me. I have a tendency to return objects that have been dropped to their owners.
You have courage, Effendi. The courage of a fool faced with death. I could keep quiet, but you have done a great service for me. And your baggage is at my place. It would fetch a good price if anything untoward happened. Isn't that right?
Understood. If anything bad should happen, my luggage is yours. Now, who does this knife belong to?
It is an Ottoman blade. It belongs to a Turk who lives near here. He is in cahoots with the worst thieves and smugglers in all of Cairo. It is even said that he is their boss, and is feared like the plague, even amongst the police. He has killed as many men as there are fleas on a donkey, and I do not want to be next. No, not Mustafa. He is not at home this morning. I saw him heading towards the port a few minutes ago. He looked on edge. If you go by his house, be discreet, because the neighbors are curious and on the watch at all times.
How will I recognize the Turk's house?
Oh, quite easily. Those people are not like us. Take the road that runs along the bazaar, and you'll find the house just after.
Farewell now, my friend. I must find the Turk's house. This is where Dracula's subordinate lives. If I want to enter in his absence, I must avoid making noise. This lock is rather sophisticated, but with a bit of logic, I should be able to open it. There. Perfect. Open. This might be useful. I am taking it. A black sphinx without a face. Ah, there are some hieroglyphs. Perhaps I shall learn more thanks to this statuette. A miniature pyramid. Curious. These jewels strongly resemble those of the necklace which the director entrusted me. Mustafa told me that this man operated in contraband. Why, there is a parchment that has just been torn. Let us see. This could be interesting. I found it! Damnation! There was a cobra in this large vase. Impossible to approach the door if I don't find a way to get rid of it. There. Perfect. A key. It must have been in the serpent's vase. Open. This letter was written just 2 days ago. This letter was written rapidly. The monster must have been pressed to leave again. All of these precious items have been stolen, there is no doubt. All of these precious items have been stolen, there is no doubt. A solar disk. Curious. This sachet is not a part of the stolen goods. It contains gold powder. I cannot transport all of these artifacts stolen by this Turk and his acolytes. I must return to the director as quickly as possible. Let us head to the museum.
I don't know how to thank you for recovering these stolen artifacts. The police just brought them, but unhappily, they were unable to put their hands on this Turk. But they know his name, Suleiman. He won't get far. The authorities, as well as the museum, will draw great prestige from the reinstitution of this stolen treasure.
If it can contribute to improving the opinion that the locals have of Westerners. Can I have the Coptic artifacts?
Here, they are in this sack. And keep the necklace which I entrusted you. It's not on my inventory, and it will make a perfect souvenir.
I shall depart, Director. Look at this parchment. Do you recognize these hieroglyphs?
Yes, they are classic symbols from ancient Egypt. I have a book on this very subject over there on my desk. You could take a look.
Fine. All of that must be deciphered. I found it!
What do you want?
I found this statuette at our man's hideout. What can you tell me about it?
It represents the Black Sphinx without a face, the artifact of the impious cult of which we spoke. The Black Sphinx is one of the shapes of the Black Man without a face, one of the ancient cursed gods. Usually, the Sphinx is placed near a building to guard it. When the building is a tomb, the Sphinx protects the corpse within. It's a bodyguard, if you will permit my little joke. As for the hieroglyphs, they represent a phrase or a name, or possibly both. This phrase is pronounced Nayar-hut, or more likely, Lut-hotep. Nayar-lut-hotep, that's it! I would have trouble giving you the exact signification without much research, and we seem to have little time. I must recommend, however, that you dispose of this artifact at the soonest opportunity. It will only bring bad luck.
I shall depart, Director. But what is it, my friend? You seem to be in an ill humor.
My wife has locked me out because of my niece. She hasn't set foot back in the house, and I'm not allowed to return home myself until the girl is found.
Good luck, then. Such tragedy for this family. What will they do if they learn the truth? They will think me mad, and worse, they might take vengeance on all Westerners and spread this hatred to the whole of Cairo. Good evening. Here are the objects that you asked for. I've also succeeded in finding the solar disk missing from the cross.
Your steps are guided by Saint Mark, my son. It is a miracle that you have accomplished this. Unfortunately, I have some bad news. In order to replace the objects that were found on the cross, I have this host for you which will be necessary. I do not know two of the other artifacts, but they were certainly common items, because nothing was consigned to me by my predecessors. They must, however, be feared by demons, and you seem to know a lot about that matter.
But some artifacts are still missing. Is something worrying you?
We will need some holy water to pour into a cup for one of the arms. I don't have any more. I can, with the artifacts you have brought me, perform the water benediction ceremony in my role as priest. The water here is unsuitable for benediction. The aura emanating from the tomb, as well as the recent flock of birds, have sullied the waters hereabouts. I will require water that hasn't touched the earth, such as rainwater. But it is the dry season, and it won't rain for days, if not weeks.
I cannot suffer such a delay. I will attempt to find a solution and bring you some suitable water as soon as possible.
A small quantity will suffice.
I found this statuette. Can you tell me about it?
It is a black sphinx without a face. One of the shapes of the black man without a face who cries at the moon. It is a cursed object. Smashing it would be the best.
What does the inscription on the side mean? The director of the museum pronounced it as Nai Ar Lut Hotep.
Hieroglyphs are alien to me, but I know this name. It is the name of the black man without a face, messenger of the ancient gods. His name signifies, there is no sleep past the threshold, or there is no peace after judgment. Do you understand what that means? The threshold is the passage between life and death, which corresponds to man's acts on the day of judgment, and whether one has a right to heaven or hell. Those who call upon the black man with no face are condemned to eternal damnation. This could take the form of a soul wandering for eternity, screeching through the black void. But it could also take the form of a creature neither dead nor alive, hiding amongst mortals, subject to an unspeakable hatred and eternal torment.
Goodbye, Herodotus.
The heavens be with you, my child. Be full of courage.
Fine. Now I must find some water that hasn't touched the earth.
I am listening, my child.
Here is some water that comes from air and has not touched the ground. It should be suitable.
The heavens are with you, my son. I can bless this water. Here, my child. You must go alone to the tomb. I must pray in the chapel and recite the rites which will open the seal for you. Besides, the access is difficult for a man of my age.
You have been there.
An old man of God knows the cornerstones of life. He also knows what may be the throes of death. An innocent young girl succumbed in this damned place. Despite being a Muslim, she has a Christian grave. It goes against tradition, but her soul will rest in peace from now on.
She died in the clutches of the monster, who leaves behind him a long list of similar tragedies. Nevertheless, her family is not worried, because they are not fully informed. What can we do?
Tell them the truth. But know that a Muslim buried by a Christian will certainly cause numerous misunderstandings, and probably worse. You know more than I about this business. Your decision will be wise.
After having gone past the cross, is there anything else I need to do?
According to the ancient priest's reports, you must find a secret passage just after the cross. To open it, you must put a gold deben and a hinu of cursed blood into a basin. I do not know what it signifies. Directly afterwards, the sun must hit the summit of the pharaoh's tombs. Again, I can't help you, but the heavens are with you. You will succeed.
Goodbye, Herodotus.
The heavens be with you, my child. Be full of courage.
I must return to the temple. I am prepared. Who knows what awaits me? I found it! I found it! There. Perfect. There. Perfect. There. All of the artifacts are placed. Now I must utter the words that Herodotus taught me. Delen dagrum balarum veritas grum ble blevader trugrum fugnurat. There is something inside. A copper deben, the same as the one in the museum. A broken statue of the god Seker. A spearhead, lavishly decorated and extremely solid. These hieroglyphs remind me of something. Think. There. Perfect. This could come in handy. They are Egyptian sculptures, but they are, oddly, horrible and obscene. They are Egyptian sculptures, but they are, oddly, horrible and obscene. This could come in handy. It consists of a partially broken, yet still solid funerary barge. There. Perfect. There. Perfect. Now, will this work? This might be useful. I am taking it. There. Perfect. A drawing of 3 pyramids, each bathed in a beam of light. Rather strange. Apparently I must find the right pyramids. Let's see. There. Perfect. Perfect. On to the next step. The basin. It changes into sand. What is this enchantment? I have found it. The order of the pyramids at Giza. And that triggers the opening of the secret door. Mind, this calls for extreme diligence. It is moving. Perfect. Oh, this spot is infested with crocodiles. Impossible to pass. But there is someone inside. Or rather, an infernal being, if I am to believe the inhuman cries that emit from within. The spell is broken. I can advance. papyri, in a language that is completely unknown to me. The ground is trembling. Quick, we must leave without delay. I penetrated the secret of the tomb and left what was found behind the cross under the protection of the holy relics. I brought back these parchments, in which may be written the way to save my friend from the curse. But I do not understand this language. Can you translate?
These texts were composed in my order's ancient secret language, forgotten centuries ago. I would be incapable of translating the slightest word, my son. I wish I could have helped you.
My quest is at an end then, and it is a failure laden with consequences. My young friend is condemned even if I had done everything to save her.
There may yet be a hope, my child, but a slim one. 20 years ago, a European monk by the name of Brother Alberto came to stay with us for a time while on a pilgrimage. He seemed to have a thorough understanding of us, and I seem to recall that he said something about understanding the rudiments of this ancient language. But Brother Alberto confided this on the eve of his departure, and we never knew anything further. I don't know if this monk is still living, as he seemed to be even older than myself. But if he is, I think he would surely be found at the heart of the abbey where he worked as an illuminator. He said it was St. Carousel Abbey in Vienna, capital of the Austrian Empire.
Thank you for this information, Herodotus of Judah. I will go immediately to pack my affairs and leave. We are not likely to meet again, so farewell, my friend.
I must thank you, my child, and do not say goodbye. Who knows if we are going to the heaven or not?
I must find this Mustafa.
Here, Effendi, this arrived for you. The director of the museum sent it here.
Thank you. By the by, I have made inquiries about your niece, and I have good news for your cousin, and for you by the same token.
Ah, yes?
Listen, know that your niece is far from here now, but that she is very, very happy. This stranger who you saw her with the other night is none other than a European prince of royal blood who fell in love with her at first sight.
Royal blood?
Yes, but lower your voice. They were solemnly united in accordance with the prince's vows, but the news is not yet official.
I understand, Effendi. But where is she now?
I swore I would keep it a secret. The prince is very powerful, and the fact of making this union public under the current circumstances could have considerable political consequences here and, above all, in Europe.
That explains everything. But if I recount this to my cousin, he will never believe me.
This is what the prince has left for the family of his beloved. For he who will be charged with officially announcing the news, you in this case, this sachet of fine gold dust. For the parents, the prince had this jewel purchased here. The large stone that you see there is an uncut diamond of the purest clarity. Your cousin will be able to feed his family until the end of his days without having to tap dance ever again.
How to thank you, Effendi?
Prepare my effects, and when the muezzin calls, say a prayer for me. Your God and mine will not be too many to help me in what I have to do. This letter received in Egypt was cause for great concern. Seward blames me for Mina's sudden change for the worse. Unrelenting fevers were causing her terrible pain and provoking serious fits of delirium, wherein she claimed to want to undertake a voyage east in order to rejoin her lord and master. I asked Seward to join me in Vienna with Mina if he judged her able to travel. He gave me the address of his hostess, Duchess Orlovsky, whom I count upon reaching right after I visit the location where I hope to find Brother Alberto, St. Carousel Abbey. But will all of these efforts be sufficient? At this exact moment, Dracula is sinking his blood-red eyes into the frightful text, making him more demented, stronger, and even more dangerous.